Last spring, a guy named Dale in rural Tennessee got a bill for $480 just to have a truck come suck the sludge out of his septic tank. $480 for maybe 45 minutes of work. And the worst part? He just had it done 3 years earlier. Same price, same truck. Dale told me this story himself, and the thing that stuck with me wasn't the price. It was the look on his face. That resigned, "This is just how it is" expression. Like paying hundreds of dollars to flush your own waste is as unavoidable as death and taxes. But what if it's not? What if there's something sitting in the produce aisle of your grocery store, right now, probably less than $2, that could fundamentally change how your septic tank processes waste? Something so effective at breaking down organic matter that it could stretch the time between pumpings from every 3 years to potentially far, far longer? That's exactly what we're getting into today. And no, this isn't some internet myth or one of those baking soda tricks that sounds good but does nothing. This is grounded in actual enzyme science, the same biochemistry, that the meat tenderizer industry has used for over a century. Except, instead of softening a steak, you're dissolving the solid waste that fills up your septic tank and forces those expensive pump outs. Stay with me on this one. By the time we're done, you'll understand exactly what this seed is, why it works, how to use it properly, and what kind of results you can realistically expect. Here's what most homeowners with septic systems already know, but hate admitting. That tank is a ticking clock. Every flush, every shower, every load of laundry is sending material down into a concrete box buried in your yard. And that box has a limit. See, your septic tank works in layers. The liquids sit in the middle and eventually flow out to your drain field. The lighter stuff, grease, oils, floats to the top as scum. But the heavy stuff, the solid waste, the proteins, the organic matter from your kitchen and your bathroom, that sinks to the bottom and forms sludge. And sludge is the enemy. Over time, that sludge layer grows. It compacts. It thickens. And once it takes up too much of the tank's volume, you've got two choices. Pump it out or start dealing with backups, slow drains, foul smells in the yard, and eventually, potentially, a complete system failure that can cost you $5,000 to $15,000 to replace. Most septic professionals recommend pumping every 3 to 5 years, depending on your household size. The average cost across the country sits somewhere between $300 and $600 per visit. Over the life of a home, that's thousands and thousands of dollars just to manage a biological process. And here's the thing that always bothered me about this whole system. Your septic tank already has bacteria in it. It's already designed to break down waste biologically. So why does it still fill up? Why does the sludge keep winning? The answer is simple. The natural bacteria in your tank are good at breaking down certain materials, but they struggle with heavy proteins, greases, and fibrous organic compounds. Those tougher materials accumulate faster than bacteria can digest them. That's the gap. And that's exactly where this seed comes in. So what's this $2 seed that supposedly changes everything? Papaya seeds. Yeah, the small, dark, peppery seeds inside an ordinary papaya, the ones most people scoop out and throw directly in the trash. Those seeds contain a powerful natural enzyme called papain. And papain is one of the most effective biological agents on the planet for breaking down proteins and organic matter. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. This isn't folk wisdom. Papain is a well-documented proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic just means it breaks apart protein molecules. It's the same enzyme used commercially in meat tenderizer powders. You know, the stuff you sprinkle on a cheap cut of steak to make it soft? That's papain at work. It literally disassembles the tough protein fibers. And what is the sludge in your septic tank made of? Largely proteins. Organic waste from food, from human waste, from all the biological material that flows down your drains. It's a protein-heavy environment, which is precisely the environment where papain thrives. When you introduce papaya seeds into your septic tank, You're essentially deploying a concentrated dose of natural enzyme directly into the sludge layer. The papain begins breaking down those tough protein bonds that your existing tank bacteria struggle with. It doesn't replace the bacteria, it assists them. Think of it like giving your tank's biology a significant upgrade. The bacteria can now access and digest material that was previously too dense for them to process efficiently. And it's not just papain. Papaya seeds also contain a secondary enzyme called chymopapain, which works alongside papain to broaden the range of organic compounds being broken down. Together, these enzymes create a more aggressive digestive environment inside the tank, accelerating the decomposition of sludge and potentially slowing the rate at which that bottom layer accumulates. The net effect? Your tank processes waste more efficiently. Sludge builds up more slowly, and the interval between necessary pump outs could extend significantly. To understand why this works so well, you need to know one thing about what's actually sitting inside your septic tank. It's not just waste in some vague, abstract sense. It's a complex, biological soup: fats, carbohydrates, cellulose fibers, and above all, proteins. Proteins are long-chain molecules. They're tough. They fold into compact structures that resist breakdown. Your septic bacteria, the ones that occur naturally, produce their own enzymes, but those enzymes work slowly and aren't always equipped to handle the sheer volume or density of protein-based waste in a busy household. Here's an analogy. Imagine your septic bacteria are like a small crew with hand tools trying to demolish a building. They'll get it done, eventually, but it's slow, exhausting work. Now imagine you hand that crew power tools. Same workers, same building. But now they're cutting through material at 3 or 4 times the speed. That's what papain does. It's the power tool. Papain works by cleaving peptide bonds, the molecular connections that hold protein chains together. Once those bonds are severed, the large indigestible protein clumps break into smaller peptides and amino acids. And those smaller molecules? Your tank bacteria can consume them easily. It's like pre-chewing food for the microbes. You're not changing the biology of the tank, you're optimizing it. Studies on papain's enzymatic activity show it's effective across a wide pH range, which matters because septic tanks tend to hover between mildly acidic and neutral. That's well within papain's working range. It's also effective at moderate temperatures, which, conveniently, is exactly what you find underground, where septic tanks sit. The enzyme doesn't need warm conditions or special activation. It just needs contact with organic matter and a bit of moisture, both of which your septic tank has in abundance. This isn't theoretical. Papain-based products are already used in commercial waste treatment applications, including some municipal wastewater processing. The enzyme's ability to accelerate organic decomposition is well established. What's less commonly discussed is that you don't need a commercial product to get the benefit. The raw seeds from an ordinary grocery store papaya contain significant concentrations of the same active enzyme. Now, if this is so effective, you might be asking why your plumber never mentioned it. Why isn't this common knowledge? And honestly, it's a fair question with a pretty straightforward answer. There's no money in telling you to buy a $2 papaya. I want to be clear. I'm not saying there's some grand conspiracy here. Plumbers and septic service companies aren't villains. Most of them are honest, hard-working people doing essential work. But the business model of septic maintenance is built on regular pump-outs. That's how the industry sustains itself. There's simply no financial incentive to promote a method that might extend the interval between service calls. Beyond that, natural enzyme treatments have historically lived in the home remedy space, lumped in with things like pouring yeast down your drain or adding baking soda to your tank. Some of those remedies genuinely don't work, and they've created a kind of guilt by association. When everything natural gets labeled as a myth, the things that actually have scientific backing get dismissed along with the rest. There's also the fact that papaya is a tropical fruit. For decades, it wasn't widely available in many parts of North America and Europe, where septic systems are most common. The knowledge existed in tropical and subtropical regions, where papayas grow abundantly, and where people have used the fruit and its seeds for all kinds of practical purposes for generations. But it simply didn't cross over into the mainstream home maintenance conversation in colder climates. That's starting to change. papayas are now available in virtually every major grocery chain year-round. And as more homeowners share their experiences online, the awareness is slowly building. Alright, let's get into the actual process, because this is simpler than you think. Step 1. Go buy a ripe papaya. You want it ripe because the enzyme concentration in the seeds is highest when the fruit has fully matured. You're looking at about $1.50 to $3 depending on where you shop. One papaya is all you need per treatment. Step 2. Cut the papaya in half and scoop out the seeds. A typical papaya contains roughly 100 to 200 seeds, more than enough for one application. You can eat the fruit itself, by the way. It's delicious. You only need the seeds. Step 3. Take those seeds and crush them lightly. You don't need to powder them, just break them open enough to release the enzyme more quickly. A Ziploc bag and a rolling pin works fine. Or a mortar and pestle if you've got one. Even just pressing them with the back of a spoon will do the job. Step 4. Flush the crushed seeds down your toilet. That's it. Your toilet is the most direct route to your septic tank. Just put the seeds in the bowl and flush. Some people mix them, with a cup or two of warm water first to help them travel smoothly. That's fine, but not strictly necessary. Step 5. Timing. The best time to do this is in the evening, right before your household's water usage drops for the night. This gives the seeds maximum contact time with the tank contents before a fresh influx of water dilutes them. The enzymes need time to work, and a quiet overnight period is ideal. For maintenance, repeat this process once a month. That's one papaya per month, roughly $20 to $30 a year, compared to hundreds for a pump out. Over time, you may notice slower sludge accumulation when your tank is eventually inspected. Now, and this is important, don't skip your next scheduled inspection. When your tank is due for a professional look, have it done. Let the technician measure your sludge and scum levels. That measurement is your real data point. If you've been using papaya seeds consistently, and your sludge levels are significantly lower than expected for the time elapsed, you're seeing the effect firsthand. A couple of extra tips. First, avoid using excessive amounts of antibacterial cleaners, bleach, or harsh chemical drain cleaners in your household plumbing. These products can harm both the natural bacteria and the enzyme activity you're trying to enhance. Second, if your household is particularly large, say 5 or more people, consider using seeds from 2 papayas per monthly treatment to match the higher waste volume. And one more thing, you can buy papayan enzyme powder online if papayas aren't readily available in your area. It's sold as a supplement and as a meat tenderizer. A small jar typically costs around $5 to $8 and lasts several months. Just add a tablespoon to your toilet monthly using the same process. It's the same active compound, just in a more concentrated, shelf-stable form. Now, I want to be straight with you here, because I'm not going to oversell this. The title of this video suggests you might never pump again. And look, for a smaller household with moderate water usage and consistent monthly enzyme treatment, it is genuinely possible to extend your pump intervals dramatically. Some homeowners report going 7, 10, even 12 plus years between pumpings when combining enzyme treatments with good septic habits. But never is a strong word. And the honest truth is that results depend on several factors. Your tank size matters. A 1,000-gallon tank serving a family of 5 is working harder than a 1,500-gallon tank serving a couple. The ratio of volume to usage is critical. Your water habits matter. Excessive water use dilutes tank contents and pushes material through the system faster than biology can process it. What goes down your drains matters. If you're flushing things that shouldn't be flushed, wipes, feminine products, excessive cooking grease, no enzyme on earth is going to save you. These materials don't break down biologically regardless of what you add, and the age and condition of your system matters. A well-maintained tank with a healthy drain field will respond much better to enzyme treatment than a system that's already failing or hasn't been serviced in a decade. So here's the realistic expectation. Papaya seed enzyme treatment is a powerful supplementary practice that can significantly reduce sludge accumulation and extend the time between pump outs. For many households, it can stretch that interval to twice or even 3 times the normal duration. But it works best as part of an overall septic maintenance approach, not as a magic bullet. Before making any changes to your septic maintenance routine, it's worth consulting with a local septic professional who knows your specific system. And always check local regulations, as some jurisdictions have specific guidelines about what can be added to septic systems. Think about what we just covered. A common tropical fruit, available at nearly every grocery store, contains a natural enzyme so effective at breaking down organic waste that it's been used industrially for over 100 years. That enzyme, when introduced to your septic tank through a simple monthly routine, can dramatically improve how your system processes sludge. The cost? A couple of dollars a month. The potential savings? Hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars over the life of your home. This is the kind of practical knowledge that gets overlooked because it's too simple, too cheap, and too inconvenient for the people who profit from the alternative. It's not a conspiracy, it's just economics. And now you know about it. Dale, the guy from Tennessee I mentioned at the start, he's been doing this for about 2 years now. His last inspection showed sludge levels way below what his technician expected. He hasn't needed a pump out yet. He might not need one for a long time. $2 once a month, that's it. If this was useful to you, do me a favor and subscribe. I dig into practical, overlooked solutions like this regularly, the kind of stuff that saves real money and actually works. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one, because what I've got coming up next might save you even more than this one did. Take care of your home. It takes care of you.